Okay, let me turn that on. All right, welcome to my channel, and we're going to do a quick video on the installation of this little fella here. It's 5-section gas-fired unit, which started out life or in design as an oil-fired unit, and we've got a few bells and whistles here. This is the Midco Economite. Let's see, there's our rating on that, model number, and we've got it dialed in pretty well in place of an oil burner, which could go there. We've got a male by female 3/4 inch reversible handle Webstone drain valve, and an adapter for a hose, which would go on the normally ridiculous drain that goes there. Also removed the plug that goes there and put an eccentric coupling and a full port drain valve there. So we've got the drainage situation pretty well taken care of. Our usual site class drain in this configuration with this boiler requires a 1/4 inch brass street L in order to clear the door for access and inspection. This is the low water cutoff that comes with the boiler, the hydro level cycle guard. This is our skim tapping, and what we sometimes do in certain situations is we've removed the 1/2 inch plug here and installed a remote probe, and that goes over to the manual reset low water cutoff service switch here. Low voltage wiring there. The pressure troll, which in an earlier video I showed comes set at about 9 psi. We dropped it down to the lowest setting on the scale and found that even then it was tripping off at 3 pounds. So we made adjustments, so this now trips off at 1.5 pounds and turns back on at 1/2 pound. And also on its own separate pigtail, a manual reset pressure troll, which we've tested, and it trips off at about 5 pounds. So with separate pigtails and a clean out here, we can get this squared away. You can see the green cycle guard cycling. This is sort of leftover schmutz when we first turned on the boiler, and that'll work itself out, or we can run a rod there to clean it later. There's our test port for our analyzer. This is a gas style barometric which swings both ways. You can add weights to this to change the draft setting, and this is the block flue sensor, which we've wired into the low voltage circuit. There is where the chimney connector should go. However, previous to our getting here, this was installed, draft inducer with a airflow switch, and it's not ideal, but this is what we've got to do for now. Customer is going to have this inspected by a licensed chimney sweep and hopefully get it relined so we can hook this up and I'll get rid of this. Got it working pretty well. There is the printout of the analysis after we got it done. So have a 2.5-inch outlet, and the instructions call for a 3-inch header. We have a 3x2 takeoff for that, and we have a 2-inch takeoff here going into a late Victorian, and that's not an exaggeration, late Victorian bullhead T there, with 1.5 inches going off either direction. And we have a fairly nice equalizer line, which allows for good test securing of our VXT. Got a new shutoff valve here, grounding clamp that was existing, and this jurisdiction insists on a backflow preventer with an air vent. Pressure in here is kind of low, so we had to dial this up to 3 gallons per feed cycle in order to be the equivalent of about 1 gallon per feed cycle. Because this thing knocks at least 10 psi off of the flow, and this is the drain vent that we've got there. We've tied in. The stainless steel was left over from the old boiler, and it was in excellent shape. And so this is the 1.5 inch equalizer line, and going into the 2x1.5 inch T with, of course, a boiler drain at the end, because that's what we do. This is the boiler drain we added some time ago for this old wet return, and this is our no return flush. We were able to get some pretty nasty greasy stuff out of there when we ran that with the no return flush earlier. It's the relief valve setting with the quick disconnect for servicing if necessary, and a plug which can be removed for checking for oil and goo there. We rebuilt the VXT. That's the it's not in bad shape. You could probably hit that with drop that in vinegar and clean that off if necessary. Yeah, of course we've got a quick disconnect here for that also. So that about sums it up there. I think this is working pretty well. We've did a lot of work over the years on the return lines, and I may get into that in another video. So for now, I'm going to sign off, and as always, I appreciate your comments and questions. I hope that we learn from each other with our comments and questions, and really appreciate them. Thank you all again, and stay safe.